Some of y'all have talked a lot about being stuck. And from the private messages that I've been receiving, a lot of y'all aren't liking it too much. And listen, I totally get it. But here's the truth. Being stuck is a blessing in disguise. And you're like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. You may not believe that, but give me a chance and you'll find out why in the next few minutes. Throughout this video, you'll get a sense that being stuck can often trigger internal conflicts, especially when they clash with societal expectations and judgments from those around us. Adding to that is the feeling that we need to be somewhere else other than where we currently are. And truth be told, part of why we might be feeling stuck is because it's rooted in unresolved feelings. And part of making some of those changes to get unstuck would often mean possibly disappointing those around us, changing roles, identities, and that could feel quite scary. As you can see, this is pretty layered. And so this is why we're gonna do a bit of a deep dive into the root cause of the feelings underneath being stuck and learning the art of embracing this phase as a catalyst. And I'm gonna be coaching you into a specific way that's gonna show you how to get deeper into those feelings associated with the feelings of feeling stuck. And the best part of that, at the end of this video, I'll share one powerful action that you can take right now that will ignite the flames of change within you. Welcome to my channel. My name is Francis, and my goal is to inspire you to rise above the self-doubt, to conquer your fears, and embrace a life of limitless possibilities, free from judgment and full clarity. Because I believe when we defy the resistance and face our fears, we will create wildly beautiful lives. So if you're curious to discover how being stuck can be your ultimate advantage, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, join the Thrive newsletter, where I'll be announcing something big in the next few weeks. Being stuck may not feel like a positive experience at first. And like I said, I totally get that. Feeling stuck can actually evoke a wide range of emotions. And of course, these are going to vary from person to person. So we're going to dive into some common associated feelings with feeling stuck. You don't feel like you're making a lot of progress or seeing positive changes in your life, and that leads to frustration and a sense of helplessness. You might be feeling quite disappointed. Feeling stuck can bring about a sense of disappointment in yourself because you don't feel like you're achieving the things that you desire or the things that you wanting to live up to, the expectations that you set out for yourself. Another associated feeling is you're feeling anxious. Maybe you're uncertain about what the future will look like. And since you're not sure which step to take to move forward, it can lead to a lot of anxiety and worry. You might be feeling restless. Inside of you, you feel the movement, but it's not pairing up with your external. When we feel stuck in a stagnant situation, it can often create restlessness and this almost irritable desire for change. You might even be feeling envious, seeing other people progress by your own definition of what progress looks like, especially while you feel like you're not making progress yourself, can actually lead to feelings of envy or jealousy. Some more feelings associated with this is you might be feeling some sort of guilt. Some of you might be feeling guilty for not being able to overcome some of these obstacles or challenges. You feel like this point in your life, you should have been able to do X, Y, Z. So there's this guilty feeling of not being able to figure this thing out. Feeling stuck can sometimes trigger a sense of inadequacy, as if you lack the skills and you don't feel capable of overcoming these difficulties in your life. And maybe there's a sense of regret because you're feeling stuck. It might give you a lot of time to ruminate and reflect on past decisions. As a result, you might guilt yourself into feeling like, okay, I contributed to this stuckness, and this could lead to feelings of regret. Now, this is very different than taking responsibility for yourself. We can take responsibility for our actions and past decisions without regret. Feeling stuck can actually create a sense of loneliness, making it challenging to connect with others, especially if you feel that you may not have much to offer that relationship. Or again, you believe that you're not making as much progress as you would hope for. And the last feeling that you might be feeling is a sense of powerlessness. If you've been stuck for quite some time, then the inability to change your circumstances or situation can actually lead to feelings of powerlessness and a lack of control. When stuck, we might find ourselves lacking the drive and enthusiasm that we once had. Activities that used to actually bring us joy may no longer hold the same appeal. And so we may struggle to find the motivation, the inspiration, or the desire to pursue our goals or our desired lives. But before we can actually move forward, the key thing here is to recognize and acknowledge any of these feelings that might be coming up for you. And note that I use a few examples. There might be some feelings that are outside of the stuff that I just mentioned, but being stuck tends to manifest in a lack of motivation, indecision, or a sense of feeling trapped in our current situation. Each one of these feelings can actually be resolved with some tweaks of our thoughts, some changes in our environments, change in perspective, and taking action, just to name a few. Obviously, if they're really deeply rooted in some unresolved feelings or trauma, we just got to go a little bit deeper. Obviously, some tweaks might take a little bit more investment, time, but everything and anything is possible. That change that you're looking for is possible. But when we're feeling stuck, it's often hard to shake the feelings of dissatisfaction and frustration, and it greatly impacts our self-esteem. The doubt kicks in and we question our own worthiness. And this hinders our willingness to take risks and explore new opportunities for fear of failure or rejection. So let's self-reflect for a moment. I want you to take a moment and reflect on those associated feelings that I already mentioned, because by doing so, it'll take you to the root cause of the feelings underneath the stuckness. It's very easy to get distracted by looking outwards at the stagnation because we've associated our lives with specific outcomes. And when those outcomes don't pair up, the internal conflict is like a mushroom cloud exploding inside of us. Remember, as much as we'd like to believe it's all outside circumstances that has us stuck, it's really, again, the feeling underneath that has us stuck. Every problem has a solution. It's whether or not we like those solutions, whether or not we want to adopt those solutions, and so forth. Okay, you're like, Francis, that's cool and all, but like, how we do this? I'm going to give you an example with one of the feelings that I shared. I mentioned earlier that you might be feeling disappointed. That's a natural response to feeling stuck. And feeling a sense of disappointment within yourself could be directly related to you not living up to your own set of expectations. So let's go deeper with this. So ask yourself, what expectations? Are those expectations yours? Where did those expectations come from? When did you first feel disappointed in yourself? If you can think back, because this could be a reoccurring theme for you. Is there a story that you've carried with you for a very long time and it's just manifesting itself this way? Where is the disappointment showing up in your body? When you feel it, where do you physically feel it? Because remember, we hold things in our bodies. The reason this is so important is because we are like a car driving through life. And with each stop on the road, someone throws some junk in the trunk, and we don't make it a habit to investigate, to challenge, to question, or to ever think about maybe removing some of that junk. So what happens? It just stays with us wherever we go. So as my partner says, what junk is in your trunk? Remember when I said that feeling stuck is a good thing? It's a blessing in disguise. Well, it really is. I wrote a whole article about it a few years ago, and I'll leave a link to that article below. I call it the gift of painful stagnation. And you're like, those words don't go together, but just hear me out. Feeling stuck means that you're alive and you're desiring for a change in your life, a powerful change. Some people live a whole lifetime and don't believe anything needs to change, regardless of the many examples, signs around them that's showing them that things might need to be different. The mere fact that you're watching this video is because you want something to be different in your life. And I applaud you for that so much. So yes, it is a gift. Being stuck forces us to pause and reflect on our current situation and choices. It encourages introspection and self-awareness, helping us to understand our values, our desires, and aspirations more deeply, which leads us to reevaluate our priorities and assess what truly matters to us. It provides us a chance to align our goals and actions with our authentic selves, because being stuck is just a clear sign that, listen, something is out of alignment within ourselves. It's not pairing up with what is actually happening outside of ourselves. And when we say yes to overcoming those challenges that's associated with feeling stuck, it actually enhances our resilience and coping skills. It presents an opportunity to develop problem-solving abilities and adaptability. Remember what I said earlier, every problem has a solution. We just might not like it, but it's there. It might even make us super uncomfortable. It's going to feel scary, but the solution is there. So now we're invited to tear down the insulation that stuck has us in. We can now become a bit more creative in dealing with some of those challenges that are keeping us complacent, stagnant, and filled with fear. And so as we continue to overcome those challenges in our lives, we also begin to build this inner strength. Navigating the stuckness on an intentional level requires that kind of inner strength and perseverance. We're actually making a choice now to persevere through the stuckness. When we continue to lean against our edge, we stretch ourselves. Situations like these encourage us to tap into our inner resources and trust our capabilities. It's like saying, hey, we're going to get through this, because some of feeling stuck is a mistrust of self. So in what ways can you create more trust of self, to trust your decisions and to trust the universe? So my encouragement to you is to not fight against feeling stuck. As much as you want to be mad at it, as much as you want to throw a shoe at it, imagine what life would look like if you actually embraced it instead. Embracing being stuck really allows us to learn from our experiences and mistakes. It can serve as a catalyst for acquiring new skills, new knowledge, and insights and wisdom. Every challenge in our lives is an opportunity to become our best selves. But we can't do that without understanding, without empathy or self-compassion. And so this is where community really matters, because having a community to work through these stuck feelings can actually help us move through those stuck feelings a lot faster. And it can also help us stop focusing on our own problems, because we're now actually helping someone else. We're getting out of our own heads, because going through difficult periods of feeling stuck can actually foster empathy and compassion for others who may be facing similar struggles. It deepens our understanding of human emotions and experiences. You begin to see, oh, I'm not the only one experiencing this thing. So community is so important when you're feeling sort of stuck. Remember when I said earlier that being stuck lets you know that you're alive? That's because feeling stuck is a wake-up call, motivating us to make positive changes in our lives. It encourages us to break free from unhealthy patterns and embrace new opportunities for growth. The minute we decide to face the stuck period in our lives and embrace it with curiosity, we will start to see the changes in our own lives. And as a result, we begin to deeply appreciate the little progress that we make along the way. You're going to be able to notice the powerful contrast between feeling stuck and actually moving forward. And between that space, it's going to highlight the value of growth and give you a sense of accomplishment. And from that point of reference, whenever you do feel stuck in the future, you'll know how to navigate yourself out of that stuckness with ease. One thing that feeling stuck does for us, which many of us aren't very good at this anyway, is that it cultivates patience. You can't rush this process, because it's part of your soul growth. So being stuck teaches us patience and the art of waiting. And sometimes that waiting period is like waiting for that moment where everything feels a bit more in alignment so you can make that next move. It helps us to understand that growth and transformation takes time. So relish and savor the moment, because when you do, it actually minimizes the angst, it minimizes the anxiety, and it minimizes that rush feeling that we tend to feel when we believe we're supposed to be elsewhere than right here. Making a conscious and deliberate effort to navigate this stuck period of our lives will provide us with a greater sense of clarity. You'll gain greater clarity about your passions, your goals, your purpose, and this leads to a more focused and meaningful direction in your life. And some of you might be thinking, well, I don't feel the clarity, but you get the clarity through action. That's how things get clear. Things do not get clear through stagnation. Things become clear through action. In the end, I'm going to leave you with a way that you can begin to take action so that you can begin to progress through this stuckness so that you can get unstuck. And in this process of trying to move through that stuckness, we could be feeling a sense of complacency and fear. And that's what stagnation does. It leads us into complacency, where we become comfortable with the status quo, even if it no longer serves us. And the fact that you're watching this video, you ain't part of the status quo anyway. But the fear of change or the unknown can keep us stuck in the familiar but unfulfilling circumstances. If you're feeling really gripped by fear, I did a video that I'm going to leave at the end that shows you how to use fear as a catalyst for change. So come on now, do you see how being stuck is a beautiful dismantling? Let me know in the comments and say, yep, I see it. Being stuck is really an opportunity for personal and spiritual growth. It challenges us to confront our fears, our insecurities, and our limiting beliefs, paving the way for a more empowered and fulfilling life journey. By embracing being stuck and using it as a stepping stone for positive changes in our lives, we can transform challenges into catalysts for self-improvement and growth. All right, we are nearing the end, and now it's time to do what? Take some action. Okay, as promised, here is one step that you can take that doesn't cost you a thing. And this suggestion might be a bit underwhelming because this isn't some huge discovery, but it will help you to refocus. And that's what we need to do. We need to refocus. The first step I want you to take, you ready for this? Focus on what you can control. Instead of dwelling on what you can't change, focus on the aspects of your life that you have control over and take proactive steps in those areas. Ruminating over the things that you absolutely cannot control is a misuse of your energy. And I want you to shift that. When we find ourselves in challenging situations or facing obstacles, it's very common to get caught up in the things we cannot change, such as external circumstances and other people's actions or past events, stuff that happened in the past. This often leads to feelings, like I said earlier, frustration, helplessness, and stagnation. So focusing on what you can control is a powerful mindset shift that can help you break free from feeling stuck and empower you to take charge of your life. And by shifting your focus to what you can control, and this is powerful, you regain a sense of agency and autonomy over your life. And I'll go a little bit deeper and say that this is going to help you identify your sphere of influence. And what do I mean by that? This means take inventory of the aspects of your life that you do have control over and those that are beyond your influence. Your sphere of influence might include your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, your daily routines, your habits, the choices that you make. So my beautiful souls, let go of what you cannot control. Accept that there will always be things beyond your control. Letting go of trying to change or manipulate those aspects allows you to redirect your energy towards more positive endeavors. Now, you can use your energy in a way that's going to progress you out of your stuckness. I want you to remember this as we wrap this up. It is completely normal to experience moments of uncertainty and stagnation. Even athletes training for like a big game have to adjust because their bodies and even sometimes their mindset builds a tolerance to what they've been doing for a set amount of time. So understand that we too can build a tolerance to our lives as well. However, by recognizing the signs and emotions associated with feeling the stagnation, the stuckness, we can begin to process and overcome them. And even better, if we can find a supportive network that can help us progress more profound. I posted something not too long ago that said we can either help each other remember or we can actually help each other to forget. And what this basically means is that we're all in this together. And as the infamous Ram Dass said, we're all just walking each other home. When you make room for someone else who's just as stuck as you feel less alone. And lastly, again, focus on what you can control. Let the regret, the guilt, and all those feelings go. The antithesis is to take proactive steps by learning from your past experiences, and it will inevitably help to propel you forward. Remember, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and that's okay. There's no judgment about that. Everybody has their own unique blueprint. So, beautiful souls, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Share it with somebody that you think that might enjoy it. And I love it if you share in the comments below one associated feeling that you're gonna go deeper on, that you're going to work on to overcome, and one small step that you'll take to move yourself forward. In the meantime, continue the conversation offline with me by joining the Thrive newsletter, and I will see you on the other side of wholeness.